Okay, so this time we're going to do 108, 107, and 102 and 102, 101, and 104. If you're doing Greenview percent, this is the end. This will be the last set of things that you have to do. If you're doing story percent, you're about at the halfway mark. So again, we back up. If you back up too far, they will call the police. Normally, we are here a little earlier. I'm not 100% certain what that's going to change in this house. I don't really remember where he ends up at what time. Just be better at throwing things out the window than I am. And then you can pick up that phone without going around the corner. So even if he is in the hallway, he still can't see you pick it up. Grab the money from that shelf, that drawer over there. Pick up, that's everything from in this room. One thing to note here is, again, make sure he's not already suspicious of you when you break that, or he will detect that you're in the house and come looking for you. This can be one of the harder houses to go undetected because you have to open a lot of drawers, a lot of windows, all of which make noise. So you want to split up opening things by picking up stuff in between. So you're not opening a bunch of stuff all at once. And then you want to walk with that stuff as little as possible. You want to be throwing it and picking it back up so you can run faster. And then, I personally haven't timed this yet to know which direction is faster, but I tend to drive off this way. I've just been too lazy to come to this point and test it. One of these days I will. Go back to the pawn shop. Sell everything off.
Welcome 107 don't like our protection plan.
Now we're gonna go to
I hope
107.
nothing happens to the jewelry in their bedroom.
Now this is where it becomes important for your menuing that you don't accidentally go to like Ritchie Road instead. And another thing to note here is that you have to be careful of pedestrians, because if you hit a pedestrian, you have to reload a save. And for 107, you have to sleep again. You have to sleep till 0800. When you get back in after sleeping, I recommend grabbing the emerald bracelet. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it to meet the money requirement before the next part. So just back up. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to get over the fence and get into this backyard. And then get into the house. This house has a lot of like loose cash, which is really great. Doesn't give us any XP, but since the money requirement is pretty tight, it's very helpful. And I realized that I've started running fast just because muscle memory kicked in. So I would recommend that if you're really curious about the route, to watch this a few times. Just figure out what I'm picking up, figure out a comfortable way for you to remember all of the different parts. You know, maybe pause the video every once in a while, or slow it down if you can. That jump is a lot harder than it looks, because you can lose an input where you just don't jump. You can get stuck on the wall and not be able to jump. After that, you're going to go home. unlike every other time where you go to the pawn shop, this time you're going to go home. Make sure you go over to skills, buy lockpicking 4, electronics 1, and car theft 1. You have to get car theft 1 by this point. Come up here, buy your jewelry and safe cracking tools. Personally, I go over to Rent-A-Thug right now, pick up the first 5 missions, because you're going to want those when you go into 101 and 102. And then some people will sleep right now. I tend to do it after I buy the car lockpick. Dismantle both pieces of jewelry. You only have to do 1 for the mission, but you're going to need both for the money. And this is the only set of jewelry you're going to break down for the run. Or hopefully, unless you lose out on some money somewhere. Open the test safe. It's RNG where the numbers are. The last number you'll always stop in time, so you don't really have to worry about it. You don't have to store anything right now, but what I tend to do is I will store the jewelry tools. Once again, you don't have to do that, so I'll hang on to it for now, because you can do that later as well. And see how we have 5,300? We need 8,000.
Welcome back.
So, if we go through and we only were to do, say, the heirloom bracelet, we would be at 7K. So we need the extra 1,500 from the emerald bracelet in order to actually buy the tool we need. So we're going to go up, buy the car lockpick, and sleep. You have to sleep till at least 2,100. You can sleep till anywhere between like 2,100 to, I think, like 2 in the morning. I've never really tested what the end range of that is, but 2,100 is when both 101 and 102 are empty. Which is the important part. 104, they're asleep. 101 and 102, they're both gone from their house. So now you're just going to want to drive over here. And again, we're going to use our car to jump over this fence in a little bit. But first, we're just going to run over to 102 and grab the items we need from there. You're going to come in, turn left, break the decoration, break the dishes, and steal the document. This safe can be finicky to touch to get that first input to get into this screen. I don't know why. Something about it being able to be marked seems to get in the way. And so it can be hard to get a good position on it. Make sure to steal the vase from in there. That vase is worth something like 1,200. So it's worth taking. Run over here. Just jump up on the car and jump over. Mark the camera to get the call from Vinny.
Mobile, right? See that you do.
Then go inside. I always run over here because it's easier to grab this stuff from this side. I come into the garage, grab the 50, and then while you're not going to be able to break down the stuff in this safe to sell, the XP you get from it is very much worth doing this. XP can be a bit tight early on for some of the stuff that we need to get, so doing that is important. Break the painting, run in here, there's $150 sitting there. Try not to accidentally grab, I think it's a microwave or a toaster or something that's behind it, because you'll regret that, because then you're gonna have to drop stuff. Grab the money. Now there's a lot more money in this house than what I grab. I grab what I feel is necessary for safety going later into the run. and not all of it is worth it to me. If you want more safety, you can grab more. I will show you where they are before I leave this house. I will show you where some of the extra spots are. So if you decide you want to take the little bit of extra time to get the extra safety net, you can. On your first runs, it might be a good idea until you kind of have down exactly what items to pick up. So if you come in here, there's 50 there, 50 there, and down here there's some as well. That's an extra $150 right off the bat that you can take a few seconds to grab. Feel like there was something over here. Yeah, there's a mouse there. There's a USB flash drive there. There's other stuff you can grab in here if you need a safety net, but they waste a lot of time. This is a more recent addition, is jumping over here to get out instead of having to open the gate. Saves a little bit of time, and especially since we're not grabbing any large items in there. So now we run over to 104, and we have to steal their truck. The one that we broke the window on earlier, we're now going to steal. Both of them are home. They tend to be either in the bedroom, sometimes they're in the kitchen. You never really know, because you're not going to always get here at the exact same time. If they are already really close to detecting you, you can open that car door first, because they can't hear you with the car pick. So you'll steal the car and then drive off. So once you get back, you're going to want to run up. You should have over 5,500. If you don't have over 5,500 at this point, that's where you need to start picking up the extra money. Because you need 5,500 to be able to hack this and go through the minigame. And then sell it on Black Bay.
At this rate, we'll be done with you in no time. Now, send me the tablet on Black Bay. Now you're ready for the real deal.
So, after you do that, you're going to want to sleep till noon.
We left a box by your gate. Pick it up.
Because that's going to get you ready for the first house in Ritchie Road. And then here, you're going to want to just deposit everything that you're not going to need anymore. So the jewelry tools, the hacking tools, because we're not going to be using those anymore, and all of those items. Excuse me. Another important thing is to buy backpack level 3. You can do that either now, you can do that when you're at the house. It doesn't really matter when you do it, as long as you do it before you leave the next house. Now, when you pick up this box, that starts Ritchie Road. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to take a break and rest my voice, because I don't usually talk this much. So I will edit these videos, try and get them up on Twitch, try to get them up on YouTube. And then I will release Ritchie later on, either tonight, maybe tomorrow, or I might be able to get to it next week. But this is the beginning of the run. This is going through the beginning of the houses and giving a little bit of advice on various things and what to watch for. So I hope this was helpful. If there are any questions or insights, please feel free to let me know. I'm incredibly receptive to anything. And